If you are like me and don't want to drive a boring first car or cheap car in general, you clicked on the right video. Because I think the same way and I have some great options to tell you about. The first car I have for you guys is one of the most beautiful cars you can get in that budget. In my opinion at least. It's the BMW 5 Series E39. They probably are my personal go-to option once I get my first car, and here's some proof that you can find them for way under 7k all day long. In fact, you can get pretty good ones for like 5k and less, so you're pretty safe to get a great one with 7 grand. But anyways, they were built from 1996 to 2003 and come with inline 6s or V8s, that are then coupled with 5 or 6-speed manual transmissions or 4 and 5-speed automatics. The engines then are pretty reliable and you can even get them as gas or diesel options, however you like them. And very importantly, they are more than powerful enough to go a little faster sometimes. And as they are rear-wheel drive only, you can even slide them around occasionally. Very legally of course. The E39 also handles absolutely great and is therefore super nice to drive. The interiors are very luxurious and just feel special overall to be in. And those are also very spacious and practical. I mean, you can literally get them as a wagon too. So for anyone that doesn't like SUVs, just get one of those. Though a common problem these cars can suffer from is rust. So you should have a good look around them before you even consider getting one. Also, the V8 engines can have really bad issues with the timing chains, because the timing chain guides are just total crap. So I'd personally take an inline 6. But you can also just get a more modern 5 Series like the E60 if you want to, as they're quite solid as well, and BMW of course did some improvements on them. And they don't have any rust. But as much as I love the E39 5 Series, my dream first car is a more sporty and luxurious coupe. And in fact, it's not even a BMW. It's the first generation Audi A5, and I just absolutely love them. And you probably should too, because they really are amazing cars. They look super modern even though they were built from like 2007 to 2016, and by getting simply new head and taillights, you can even make the pre-facelift models look absolutely brand new. They also are pretty fast and handle like a sporty car should do, and their interiors are so nice. You can then get the i5 as a coupe, which is my own favorite, as a convertible, or even as a 4-door coupe. And overall, their trunks are surprisingly large, but therefore the rear seats are a bit tighter on the 2-door models at least. But as you can fold on the rear seats on all of them, you are ready for your next trip to IKEA or to get anything else. Really perfect first car. You can then get the i5 with inline 4s or V6s, and there are some quite powerful ones among them. You can then find a5s with 6-speed manual transmissions for the most fun driving experience, which is very important to myself. Or a 6, 7 or 8-speed automatic transmission, just for more comfort. And even those are pretty good on these cars. And being an Audi, you can get them with quattro or wheel drive or basic front wheel drive. But I definitely recommend you to get one with quattro, because I mean it's way cooler and you accelerate a lot faster. And I mean it also helps a lot with stability and also speeding driving around corners. You can already buy these cars for like 5k in the US or 4k in Germany. And while they also get on the upper end of the budget, you really get a great car for your money. So to learn more about the common problems or further details on any of the cars on this list, just check out my dedicated videos to each one of them. I link all of them down in the description, so if you picked your favorite after watching this video, just check them out. Now we get to the most fun cheap cars in the entire market. And it's absolutely perfect if you want to learn how to drive properly, so like without all this modern driving assistance. You might have expected this car already, but it's the Mazda MX-5 Miata. They are small and light rear-wheel drive sports cars with decently reliable inline 4s that make enough power to enjoy your car every time you drive it. And while they aren't really fast, they sure feel like it, as you can actually rev out the engines going basically legal speeds, shifting through all of the 5 or 6 gears on your manual transmissions. So it just feels so raw to drive them, and it's just pure fun. I mean, you can get them with 4 or 6-speed automatics too, but they are way more boring and just not as good overall. Miatas have actually come up in price a little over the last few years, probably because of their social media hype, I don't really know, but they still are pretty cheap. And that goes for all of their first 3 generations. So they start at like 1 or 2 grand, but you can get really nice ones for like 4 to 6k. But keep in mind, they are small and not really spacious or practical, and that goes for all of their generations. So if you want space, practicality and incredible comfort, take a look at the Lexus LS400. They might just be the most reliable car ever built, which is great for your first car or any budget car in general. They were made from 1989 to 2000, and you can already get them for like 5k or even less if you're living in America. Because over there, a lot of older people just have them sitting around and don't really drive them anymore. they also just are insanely nice inside. I mean, just have a look at this pretty solid and simple luxury interior. It's super spacious and comfy. In fact, it's so nice, your friends or siblings or whoever else will probably beg you to be their chauffeur. That basically means being their driver. But the ride quality is also very impressive in itself on these cars, as it's very smooth. But they still handle and drive great, not like a yacht you drag on asphalt, even though they are insanely big. The engines definitely play a big role in that, as they have the 1UZ V8, an absolutely legendary motor, and yep, many refer to it as the million-mile engine. So these cars are pretty strong, but you're not really getting a fast car when you're buying an LS400, because they are heavy AF and made for cruising for the most part, not to be sporty. And well, their 4 and 5 speed automatics definitely play a role in that, because those are focused on smoothness instead of just speed. But if that isn't for you, because you want a quick and fun sports car that gives you a very raw and analog driving experience, have a look at the Mark I Audi TT. They were built from 1998 to 2006 and pretty much are a better Miata. Yeah, that might be a controversial statement, but I honestly don't give a fuck. They look cooler, I think, they are a little more comfortable and luxurious, more practical, handle even better, are faster too, and apart from that, they come with a soft top convertible like the Miata, or as a coupe. And those coupes have damn large trunks, as well as having 4 seats. The TT then comes with inline 4s that are quite reliable, or the same VR6 engine that's in the Golf R32. You can then get them with 5 or 6 speed manual transmissions, a 6 speed automatic, or a 6 speed DSG, which is only available with the VR6. So you should most likely get a manual, because they basically are more solid. And again, more fun to drive. Basically, because they're more engaging. I mean, you're actually doing something if you manually shift your car, but in an automatic, you're just sitting there. I think it's boring. But to make the drive feel even more fun in these cars, you can get them with all-wheel drive, instead of the base front-wheel drive. It's actually not a permanent all-wheel drive system, so you can get up to 100% of the power to the rear wheels, depending on traction. Sadly, neither you or I have any control over it, as the ECU controls it automatically. So if you now want one, they will cost you about 3 to 4k in the US and about 2k in Germany. But while they generally are reliable, parts can sometimes cost you a little more, at least in America, so the Miata over there at least has a little advantage. But by the way, I would like to apologize to you guys. My last video was like almost a month ago, but I basically had no time to make any videos because I had exams, and basically my final exams for the German version of high school are starting in like 5 weeks, so please don't expect the weekly uploads that I usually do, because it's gonna be a little tough. So if you don't want to miss my next videos whenever it comes out, just subscribe, it would be nice. And if you don't have a problem occasionally fixing your car yourself, why not just get one of the most beautiful ones ever made? The piece of art I'm talking about is the BMW E38 7 Series. Built from 1994 to 2001, they come from the golden era of BMWs. And in today's market, basically 30 years later, guys like you, I, and anyone else can grab one of those for pretty cheap. So prices start at about 6k in the US and roughly 1 or 2k in Germany, and you get an amazing car for your money. But sometimes small things go wrong on them, and just like on the E39 from before, the timing chain guides on the V8s can really get you some headaches, so you might need to change those out at some point. Also on the facelift V8s in general, the Vanos system, so like the variable valve timing stuff for BMW, can get you some more trouble. But speaking about the engines, you can get the E39 with inline 6s, V8 and even a V12, so they make enough power to properly move you around. Though just like the LS400, these cars are heavy, ride super smooth and are amazingly comfortable. Like it's a giant luxury car, what did you expect? My guess is that you expected a nice interior and a relaxing drive, and well, you get those of course. But what you probably didn't expect is that you can get them with 5 and 6 speed manual transmissions, not just 6 speed automatics. And that they are actually super fun to drive. So you will seriously enjoy your time behind the wheel of one of them, as they are not made to just sit in the back, but also for the basic family people with money, and those sit in the driver's seat. These cars are also very spacious and practical, as they have a fairly large trunk, so you can perfectly daily drive them. But an important issue you can face again here is rust. That basically goes for like all of the BMWs of that era, so you should definitely keep an eye on it. But if you're watching right now, feel like you want the luxury and beauty of the E38, but the sportiness of a TT or Miata, look no further. Your solution probably is a BMW Z4. a rear-wheel drive sports car with a good amount of power and a really nice interior. They are also fairly comfortable and relaxing to drive when you just cruise around, but they feel very sporty and handle great if you give them a little more gas. So it's almost like they have two completely different personalities that just switch around depending on your driving style. Though to be honest with you guys, they aren't perfect, because while the interiors are of great quality, look nice and are super comfortable, you pretty much get no cargo space inside of them. Like the TT at least has like these tiny rear seats that you can put some stuff on, but the Z4 doesn't. And like that storage, compartment, shelf, whatever thing barely holds anything. The trunk is also a bit smaller too, so they aren't that practical. Though for 3K in the US, or about 6K in Germany for some reason, I have no idea why they're more expensive over here, you get a great driving experience. You can also get them with 5 and 6 speed manual transmissions for the ultimate amount of fun, instead of just the basic 5 and 6 speed automatics, and those are definitely worth it. For the same reasons as every time. Those then work together with inline 4s or inline 6s, which are pretty reliable. But I definitely tell you to get an inline 6, because they get you more power, more sound, more fun, and that's basically everything you could want from a sports car. They even are more reliable than the inline 4s. Though there is one thing that can get pretty annoying on the Z4, and might even become a major headache for you, and that's the roof motor on the convertible ones. These can get damaged by some water coming in and are pretty expensive to replace. So you can get them refurbished or just relocate them, though it still is super annoying. And while you can get the Z4 as a coupe that obviously doesn't have this issue, they pretty much are outside of our budget. But if you would actually prefer a 5 or 10 grand budget, check out these two videos right here. See you guys next time.